It is gorgeous. It is lovely. Amen to that one, sunshine.
Take it away, Pete. I want to hear this.
Yeah, summer pudding, creamy, textured, lots of berries, lots of filth, and just gorgeousness that you just want to take it in and go boom shakalak, bring it back, bring it back.
What's the crack?
No crack in here, sunshine. This is just quality.
It's at this point now that I just want to crack on with drinking a lot more of this. The prize for this podcast. So I keep looking at myself in the little box, but I should really look at you up here. So it's a good prize. It's a good prize. Now, this is the first of a 3-part series where we're going to be doing 2 wines today, 3 wines on the next episode, and then another 2 wines, which is going to be a very it's going to involve a Save Our Rhinos wine as well. So, tune in for that one. Watch all 3. I think we'll give it away at the end of the of the third one. We might even do a little live scroll or what have you, and announce your name, so you can be very excited when you're watching the third installment. So, it's a great prize. It genuinely is a great prize. Back over to you, big guy.
On a train, in a bus, in a car, on the way to your job. All alone with your kids, with your wife, or with your dog. You can listen anywhere, you can listen everywhere, to the Philip Maloney podcast.
Welcome back to the latest installment of the Philip Maloney podcast. It's great to be here with you all. We're doing wine tasting. So joining me very kindly is the masterful Peter Bagley.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back.
You're very welcome, mate. Look, this has been I'm sure there's a lot of people out there with anticipation for this one. None less than at least Michelle and Fräulein as well, who are eagerly trying to win this series bottle of wine. So more about that in a little while. You very kindly are taking the lead on this, Pete. So I'm going to be at your mercy through this experience. I'm all set up. I've got all my wine. I've got my glasses. I've got a little bit of water and things like that. So without further ado, let's get going, mate.
Will do. Thank you. And welcome. And it's a pleasure being on here. And first and foremost, I want to kind of thank Hard to Find Wines for the kind of wines that we're doing, which you can go on the website and get all the wines that we are tasting throughout the series, which will be good. We will tell you about a discount code. Get that off the bat. But today we are going Glenwood South African wine. So
lovely.
So we've got South Africa. Is a lovely part of the world. Beautiful scenery, beautiful wine, and there's many different grape varieties and lots of different experiences. I was very fortunate to go to Franschhoek, where the Glenwood vineyard is situated. So, I just wanted to give a little showcase of that and the incredible DP Berger, who is the winemaker. So, big shout out to him. Yeah. Many great night when he came over, and lovely hospitality when I went over there as well.
The Glenwood winery, would you call it a winery or vineyard?
So Glenwood Vineyard, Glenwood Winery, absolutely.
Okay. So this is a little boutique vineyard, right? So roughly how big is it? What's the
So we've got, it's 25 hectares, mm-hmm. and they do roughly 90,000 bottles a year.
Okay, so compare that to a larger or middle size vineyard. What would
I mean, some of the mass-produced ones will be producing millions of bottles a year. So, like,
okay, so 90,000, less than 100,000 bottles,
worldwide.
Globally.
Yeah,
we're talking about quite a unique, bespoke item.
absolutely. And what's lovely is both the topography and the kind of the area, as the French like to call it, the terroir, which is always cool. We can go into that a little bit later as well.
Nah.
But no, I mean, in terms of South Africa itself, it sits in the Franschhoek area, wine region. That sits next door to Stellenbosch. Now, quite a lot of people who may have tried South African wine before may have heard of Stellenbosch. There's some of the big ones are around there. So KMV historically have been kind of around there. But what's brilliant is there's some beautiful vineyards. I mean, unfortunately, South Africa was a bit synonymous with low end kind of wine. Now it's actually really punching way above that and really giving some beautiful wines, which hopefully you'll all enjoy.
Yeah, so why don't we, because I don't know much about wine, but I know a little bit around. What are we kicking off with? Are we having the...
Yeah, so we're kicking off with a delightful Sauvignon Blanc and Semillon blend.
Right, okay. Yep. So I'll go ahead and pour myself a glass of that.
Absolutely. So we call this a Bordeaux blend. So right. Bordeaux being a very fancy wine region in France, very well known and whatnot. Very light, kind of very pale, kind of yellow colour. It's absolutely stunning. It's 50-50 in terms of Sauvignon Blanc and Semillon.
So these are like, so for really basic, those are the grape varieties.
They're the two grape varieties that make up the blend.
Okay.
And for our so Bordeaux white will be those grapes too. So whenever you see in a supermarket or something a Bordeaux blend, that's what you'll be getting.
Right. Lovely. Okay. So are we? Is this a very similar process to the whiskey tasting?
Basically, I mean, get your nose in, but also, again, with a good bit of tasting, just get a nice mouthful, swish it around your mouth, get it all over your gums and tongue and everything. Just feel the wine, and then let it seep down and see what you like. But have a good nose first.
Okay.
All right.
I mean, this is a pretty decent wine nose. It's as wine nosy as it gets. Yeah. Okay. All right. So
first and foremost,
I'm getting it's quite a dry wine.
Yes.
And it's quite like chalky.
So we call that mineral. So yeah,
okay. So
minerally.
Okay, so I can really get that. I can get it on my teeth. I can get it on my tongue, the front of my tongue.
It's got a nice bit of acidity. But what's nice about this kind of wine, which gives it that extra depth and quality, so Sauvignon Blanc from other regions such as New Zealand and Loire Valley will have very different taste profiles. They'll have, this is very generalistically, but down in New Zealand, you'll get a massive kind of acidity, zesty kind of gooseberry, like lip smacking, and it's like whoa, which for some is their bagage. The Loire Valley Sauvignon Blanc will be very kind of a little bit more buttery. It tends to be still those some lovely gooseberry notes, some grassy notes, but it tends to be a little bit more depth of flavour. What I love about South African Sauvignon Blanc, now it has Semillon in there as well, which adds to depth of flavour as well. But what's good, it's like a halfway house. So it means that, this is a truly gluggable wine, which has a little bit of complexity.
Yeah, it is actually. You almost want to take nice mouthfuls of this to be able to get that. I kind of want to get it right to the back of my teeth almost.
What's beautiful about it is it's got a little bit of viscosity. So it's not just like, pardon the expression, wet and flabby kind of thing. It's got a little bit of density to it, but it's got a nice bit of acidity that kind of just smooths it all the way through. Nice bit of intensity.
Is that going to... So I've opened this bottle about 45 minutes or so.
Yep.
So would that go from that sort of sharp minerally notes? Would that mellow out as the bottle sort of is consumed?
A little, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because it's quite a young. We've got a young wine. It's like 2 years old. So invariably it's quite a young wine. So you're gonna get that freshness. Now, if you keep it open, yes, some of that kind of harshness. Well, thankfully there's not a lot of harshness on there.
Mm-hmm.
But if you did have a harshness, it would mellow out a little. But unfortunately, with acidity is acidity, and it will carry it through.
Right.
So with acidity in wine, you kind of need that to actually carry wines for long aging.
Okay.
But at the same time, if it's not balanced, it'll make a wine pretty rank. So where this is good because it's got zesty fruit,
Mm-hmm.
and there's definitely kind of limes in there. There's
yeah. See, this is going to be like what happened last time. So exactly the moment you said limes, I'm starting, now that it's been in my mouth for a couple of minutes or what have you, I'm starting to just sort of get what's left behind, those citrusy notes, and you can definitely get the kind of lime, almost like those just like that sort of zest when you kind of like when you're getting the zest off the lime, and it all just sort of flies around or what have you.
And then you've got the backbone of your atypical Sauvignon Blanc. You've got the gooseberries in there as well, but again, rather than being kind of like very underripe gooseberries, they've got it's well balanced. So there's a little bit something to it. Now, obviously, the last one we were talking about matches, in terms of chocolate with whiskey. Now, this one, I would say, classic fish, of course. An absolutely smasher. If you want to go kind of proper gorgeous, you have smashed avocado on toast. You have smoked salmon, and you have either a poached egg on top.
Okay.
And this will go amazingly with it. So if you're to impress, or you'd like something special on a Saturday morning, what you want.
So I'm totally with you on that one. A nice brunchy kind of wine. So for me, I would really like that with like a top-notch fish pie. So if I had a fish pie, like nice and creamy, maybe a little bit of scallop salmon in there and things like that, but nice creamy sauce with that wine.
Yep.
For me, bingo. But I get what you're saying, like the avocado, you need something quite sort of almost fatty, because that's just gonna cut right through anything like that.
Absolutely.
Very good. So that is the Sauvignon Blanc Semillon.
Yep.
Which has a blend of Bordeaux
and it's currently retailing at Hard to Find Wines. It's literally, you can only get the Glenwood Vineyard at Hard to Find Wines.
Okay.
But amazing kind of delivery, as you said in the teaser. $13.99. And obviously, with our discount code, you'll get 10% off. Mark Davis, the managing director, has very kindly given us a discount code for all you lovely listeners, and watchers. So Andreas 10.
Andreas 10. Okay.
Andreas 10.
ANDREAS
10.
10.
10.
Okay.
And,
so Andreas
we'll
10.
have it on at the end of the podcast as well. And fill your boots.
Yeah, that's gonna flash up. So 10% off any purchases, whether it's the Glenwood or any other of their large array of wines that they've got. Is that right?
And and what I'd say is, when you get to the checkout, put in your discount code, and away you go.
Fantastic. So even if you don't win a free bottle of wine at this series, we're still giving you a good opportunity to go and get some great wine. I mean, £14 for a bottle of wine that is, I guess, could you hold on to this for a couple of years as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
it's got the acidity to sort of stick around, as it were.
Absolutely. It depends on how you like your wine, essentially. So if you like your wine very fresh and whatnot, it's drink now. Mm-hmm. If you like it a little bit more kind of buttery, a little bit more relaxed, a little thing, by all means, age it for a little bit. I mean, generally the rule of thumb with white wine, unless you're going like Burgundy and certain kind of Chardonnay, or the Chardonnays, which we will go to on another podcast, then generally white wine is to be drunk earlier rather than later.
Okay.
But this will certainly age, absolutely. I mean, most of the wines on the wine shelves in supermarkets at the moment are, 2020, so
sure.
we've got a nice little bit of 2-year age, and I think you've shown the benefits of it.
Very good. So that's the Glenwood Sauvignon Blanc 2018, and it's $13.99 at Hard to Find Wines. So with our discount, you do the maths.
Indeed.
It's going to be a bit less than that.
Yep.
Now, I wonder if just before we go on to the next one, that we show the bottle of wine that we are going to be giving away. Has that been confirmed?
Yes, absolutely. So,
okay. Have you got it there, or do you want me to get mine?
If you can get yours, that would be great.
Yeah. 2 seconds. So this is the prize.
Yeah, just give it a little spin round.
It's a very special bottle of wine.
Yeah, so on there you'll see a sticker in the middle, which is it's a red platter thing. Yeah, fantastic. 5 stars. That's the highest amount of stars you can get for that wine award, and it comes very kind of only now and again. Glenwood has had a couple of 5-star platters, that being one of them. And it's a it's a £30 bottle of vino, and as a little prize, it's an absolute gem. And as you can see, it's a 2015, so it's got some lovely bottle age. And we will go on the myths and the debunking myths about Chardonnay, and let's put Chardonnay back in the. Well, yes, absolutely.
No, nothing wrong with a bit of Chardonnay. It's a good grape, right?
Well, it's absolute beautiful grape, but it comes. It's at the moment. There's a little bit. Some people will say, "Oh, I can't stand Chardonnay." However, we'll have have another one, which is Chardonnay, but we'll go on to that in the next podcast. Or will be revealed. And another one. So we're going on to the Merlot.
Yeah, before we do, I was just going to shout again out to the to Mark at Hard to Find Wines, because this is no longer a Philip puts his hand in his pocket promotion where Philip gives away a bottle of wine. That has all finished. This is now officially a paid promotion podcast, one of my first. So Hard to Find Wines have very kindly dug out another bottle of that. They've only got a couple of bottles of that wine, and they're going to offer that as the prize for this podcast. So I keep looking at myself in the little box, but I should really look at you up here. So it's a good prize. It's a good prize. Now, this is the first of a 3-part series where we're going to be doing 2 wines today, 3 wines on the next episode, and then another 2 wines, which is going to be a very it's going to involve a Save Our Rhinos wine as well. So, tune in for that one. Watch all 3. I think we'll give it away at the end of the third one. We might even do a little live scroll or what have you, and announce your name, so you can be very excited when you're watching the third installment. So, it's a great prize. It genuinely is a great prize. Back over to you, big guy.
Indeed. So we've got Merlot. Now, Merlot, so this is, and I'm going to be a little bit fancy here because why not? So this is a delightful decanter. You don't have to have a fancy decanter.
So this is a wine that you would decant?
Yep. I mean, I generally like the idea of decanting a wine. One, if it depends where it's been, it needs a little time to relax, to chill the ill, and to kind of just come together. It has a little think about itself and all that jazz. So anyway,
okay.
So
it's quite a deep red.
It is, absolutely.
I would say that was quite a deep red, as long as I don't spill it on my
red,
keyboard.
but it's actually a medium bodied. So even though it is deep red and there's plenty of intensity on the nose.
Right, I'm looking at the legs on that, and I would say that that's probably quite a high alcohol content.
Good question. Quite often they are. So 14.5%. So
14.5. Yeah, that's
so it's up there,
yes.
But it's not like 15 or over. But yeah.
Yes. Okay. So again, similarly, I mean, so the grapes that are grown between the last wine and this wine, where would they have been? Would they have been on a different part of the hill, different part of the mountain, or the range, or what have you? Because I do get some similarities now that when you taste the Sauvignon Blanc and this Merlot, there's that initial. It's almost like a little signature of mineral.
So that's where you would say the terroir is. So there'll be slight signatures within, because it is within 25 hectares, which it's quite large, but it's not massive, and so there will be similarities. However, completely different grapes, and obviously red and the other ones are white. But it's one of those that it's there's always going to be synergy there, but then there's also going to be differences. So what we have here, what's lovely, there's a nice bit of freshness to it. There's an intense there's intensity there, and there's nice poise, as I like to call it. Again, well balanced.
I think that's that's a really nice wine. I can it kind of really clings to your mouth. So I'm quite looking forward to seeing what that does in a few minutes as well.
Yeah,
Is it,
absolutely.
Maybe I shouldn't drink any water to find that out. But
What I would say is with this, it's because people get afraid of tannins. So what I'd say with this, it's got smooth and silky tannins. It doesn't kind of make your mouth go, but it has a nice viscosity to it. It has a nice kind of roundness, but because there's that kind of freshness to it, it cuts through any kind of intensity and just makes it a lovely, well-balanced wine.
Yeah, this is like on the nose, because mine hasn't been decanted.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm getting I'm getting a little bit of that sort of, not clagginess, but that kind of mineral hit. But it dissipates quite quickly as well.
Absolutely.
On the nose, it's like it's full of really nice smells.
There's like hints of eucalyptus, like hints. There's like just a very hint. There's like certainly on the palate as well. There's some lovely kind of chocolate, but kind of dark chocolate, but kind of chocolate infused with some berries.
The berries is where I'm at on this. Yeah, wild berries, blackberries, things like that. That's
mulberries, raspberries.
Yeah,
it's all kind of coming together. It's almost like a summer pudding, creamy.
Take it away, Pete. I want to hear this.
Yeah, summer pudding, creamy, textured, lots of berries, lots of filth, and just gorgeousness that you just want to take it in and go, boom, shakalak, bring it back.
What's the crack?
No crack in it, sunshine. This is just quality.
It's at this point now that I just want to crack on with drinking a lot more of this. That's the weird thing with wine, is I don't normally drink a lot of wine. I don't normally drink a lot of anything, right? But when you get something like this, it's quite hard to put it down. I just want to go to the fridge and grab a load of cheese and some crisps and stuff.
Absolutely. And again, I mean, one of the synonymous now, again, depending on what your kind of food tastes are and whatnot, if you are a meat eater, then I would certainly recommend a lovely venison. Now, venison is they do a lot of venison in South Africa, and especially around the Franschhoek area. And this just goes with it. It's got that lovely kind of berries, almost like it's a lovely alternative to Barolo in terms of that kind of venison match.
Yeah, so if I was to have because venison, that's quite obviously it's gamey, and it's very iron rich. So that I can imagine going really well with this. I tell you what I would like to eat with this is surf and turf. Okay, I think those sort of like shellfish, like dare I say it, lobster. If I had a lobster and that, I can almost taste it. Like I can almost taste how good that would be. So a red for a fish, I would go with this Merlot if I was to have like a nice steak, all out kind of blowout meal, nice little lobster tail, nice bit of a beef or something like that, or a steak or a venison, and some nice veggies and what have you, something minerally, so broccolis and things like that. That'd be bang on with that. I've got a vegan friend, actually. I should shout her out. So Cheryl, I don't know is this vegan? Is the wine vegan?
Good question. Majority are. I would need to kind of just check with that.
Yeah.
Because majority of.
I wouldn't want to recommend it to her, and then she bursts into flames or something.
No, it shouldn't do, to be honest. But I mean, we will just check that. But the only reason a wine would be non-vegan is the way that they fine the wine. So after kind of the wine, they'll fine it to get all the impurities out.
Yeah.
Majority of vineyards.
Same with beer, right?
Majority don't use, the kind of meat-based products. Some do, but yeah. But what I'd say in terms of if you kind of more, if you're vegan or vegetarian, then I kind of a lovely kind of dare I say it, like a mushroom risotto.
Yeah.
Because the berries will kind of pick up the earthiness and kind of add it to a next level.
I know some people have had that with a bowl of cornflakes.
To be honest, it's so good. Crack on, whatever tickles your fancy. And again, it's $14.99 now. Let's be honest. A lot of people will go, "That's too expensive for a wine," because they'll go, I'll go to Sainsbury's and pay £6-7.
Yep.
Well, yeah, absolutely. That's there's wines that you do that for a little bit extra special for the kind of non-everyday wine, for kind of a Friday night celebration, Saturday night, or a Sunday, a roast lunch.
Yeah, special meal. Like that's definitely not. This isn't a pick up a bottle of plonk and drink. In an evening. This is, like I said, with lobster. You can taste that it's got a bit about it. And I'd like that in about an hour as well.
Yeah.
Really.
There's a couple of things you can do. Get your hands and cup the glass. Warm it up. That's always nice.
Yeah. So I'll put a bit more in.
Also, just keep it moving in the glass. Or you'll often see.
Oh, it's moving.
Oh yeah. You'll see. You'll see wine people literally do this all the time, and you go, "What on earth are you doing?" And basically,
is that the politically correct term?
What?
Is that a politically correct term for them, wine people?
Wine people, absolutely. But I mean, what you're doing in swirling the wine, you're giving more air to the wine.
Mm-hmm.
So a little trick that I like to use is the pen trick. So
you're not going to stick your fingers in the wine again, are you?
No. So have you ever, if you've ever played table tennis or ping pong, there, right? So. And then grab the wine like that, and then stick your hand underneath.
Yeah.
And then it just gives you a little bit more room to
have
a good old swirly swirl.
A bit more wiggle room.
Yeah. And
okay, I've got a very generic glass, so I can't really go too.
Well, no, but it's fine. At least you've got a wine glass.
Look at that.
I was wondering whether we might have it in like a mug.
I was going to go in with the coffee cup.
Hey, heating dares rudders.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, as I say, it's one of those that it is gorgeous. It is lovely. Amen to that one, sunshine. All I'd say is that it's delightful wine. It's one that will go with many different things, as you say, cheese. And with red wine, there's a bit of a thing. Red wine will go with all cheeses. Not really. So be careful with the more blue vein and the kind of heavy things, because especially if there's any tannins in the wine, those blue veins will literally double that up.
Yeah.
So if you don't like tannins, you'll find that the wine is horrendous.
Yeah, because I like a bit of Stilton and I like a bit of red wine, and I've often put Stilton and red wine together, and I've sort of been a bit, this is like at Christmas time, and it's always been a little bit disappointing where you kind of like, you go for the Stilton and you go for the wine, and then one just kind of completely obliterates the other, and there's no real complement.
No, so with things like that, you need more of a. You could do port, but even port, I would say the best matching for blue vein cheeses are a sweet wine. Actually, Glenwood do a sweet wine called the Noblesse, and it is one of the sexiest wines you can have. It's just gorgeous.
You're really spoiling us today.
Yes.
Right, so let's recap. So we've had the Glenwood. Well, they're all Glenwoods. They're all Glenwood. Sauvignon Blanc to start with. That was really good. It was gooseberry-y, and it was it had what was those other notes that we discussed around those? Citrusy. So the limes, lime notes, etc. And we thought that would go well with things like fish pie, with your avocado, salmon, that kind of
scallops.
All those sorts of nice, rich foods. Lots of acidity, really cuts through, nice and minerally. Yeah, that was really, really nice. The more I drink, the nicer it got. And then we discussed. Well, I'll go on to that after actually. Then we have just finished off on the Merlot, which was, again very nice. A premium red in many respects. Price wise, yes, granted, but it's limit as well. It's not something that's mass produced. You can taste that it's not mass produced. You can taste that it's different to other red wines, in my opinion. I mean,
absolutely. It's boutique. It's boutique. It's made. I mean, as I say, DP Berger, the winemaker.
Yeah.
He's a farmer. He tends, his grapes like a shepherd would their sheep. He likes to char the barrels, and so it gives extra dimensions to the wine.
That sounds fascinating. We've also got a unoaked one coming up, haven't we?
Yes,
is it Chardonnay?
So we've got the unoaked Chardonnay, which will be very much like a Chablis.
Okay. Well, we're going to come on to that in the next one.
Wait till you get the next the next little, the next.
Yeah, we're going to do 3 in the next one, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then
I already know that's going to be bad. That's going to be bad.
He who dares, Rodders. He who dares.
Don't forget, like, subscribe, share.
Yeah.
Show some love for Pete Bagley on his Instagram, which is Peter Bagley _drinks consultant. So you can hit him up on there or find him on Facebook. Become his friend, because at the moment all he's got is a hat. So, we all need more than a hat in our lives. And if you want to win this bottle of wine, which we're going to obviously open and taste, but not this bottle of wine, but the same bottle of wine, the people at Hard to Find Wines have very kindly offered that as a prize. So it's a very nice 2015 Chardonnay. And also, not only that, if you want to go and buy a bottle of wine, you can head over to Hard to Find Wines. You can find them on the internet. Just go Hard to Find Wines.
So www.htfwines.co.uk.
There you go. You see, that's the professionalism of a real drinks consultant. And they very, very kindly given us a 10% discount code for the Philip Maloney podcast, which is
Andreas 10.
That's ANDREAS 10.
Lovely. And please do, please do kind of, get yourself a bottle, rewatch, join in, see what, tell us what you think.
Absolutely.
Tell us what you think.
Tell us
Be
what you
kind.
think. I want to start seeing photos with wine. I want to start seeing people having their own little experiences and what have you with wine, interact. And the best is going to win the bottle of wine at random. Okay, so it might not be the best, but it's going to be at random. And we
may have a question.
Oh, really?
We may have a question, but we'll see about that. We'll
do that in the next one.
Later options.
I've already put it out. It's random. So interact with the Philip Maloney podcast. Pete might have a question as well. So if you get it right, maybe there's double bubble. Maybe something else that's around.
Yeah, you might get 2 extra things when it goes into the hat. Yeah, you may be
Hey,
able
that's
to
a
have
good idea. That's a good
there you
idea.
go.
Actually, you get
Yeah.
another, like if you get the question right, you get another. You
a
get
little
another,
slip in there. So yeah,
All right, I'll tell you what, Pete. Seeing as you've mentioned that and you've got a hat, maybe what we can do is by the third episode. So what we're looking at, a couple of weeks by the time we do the
Yep.
third one.
Yep.
We can use that hat, and you can put all the names in it, and you can pick out.
I may even have another hat.
No, and it's got to be that hat, Pete. It's got.
You see, well, it all depends. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. So
we might go with Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, so the next one is going to be the Chardonnays, and then the one after that is going to be the competition winner. So, hey, look, you've got to be in it to win it. It's just a bit of fun. It's a shameless promotion for the Philip Maloney podcast for you to enjoy.
Bring all the good times.
On a train and a bus in a car on the way to your job. All alone with your kids, with your wife or with your dog. You can listen anywhere. You can listen everywhere to the Philip Maloney podcast.